Now nobody's looking, right? We are invisible.
AI took her job or she was made redundant.
Your life can change in one conversation.
Invisible at 50. Who decided we were done? And I speak to women directly here. Hello, I'm Gisela Bajer-Pink. I am an entrepreneur, a coach, and today I'm your intimate leadership coach. It's lovely to see you. I'm here with 3 really important guests, and we're going to be talking about what happens after 50, what happens in one's life. Have we been discarded already? What are our opportunities here? And what is there to learn from this new stage in our lives? Let me introduce you to Georgina Halabi. She's an executive coach and wellbeing specialist. And then we've got Brennan, a mindset coach who specializes in the relationship with money. And lastly, but not least, Elizabeth Willetts. She's an award-winning recruitment entrepreneur that supports women being successful in their careers, working part-time. So thank you all for being here. So lovely to see you all. When you hear the phrase invisible at 50, what does come to mind for you?
Professionally, I think that a lot of people, not just women, over the age of 50 struggle to get noticed and to get hired. They're automatically discounted. I would say it's worse for women, but it's still present for men. What else comes up for me is might walk down the street when we're younger, turn some heads, we don't feature. And then certainly for my own children who are teenagers, there is a certain level of invisibility there. What I say no longer holds the same weight. It's like, yeah, whatever, what do you know?
Yes, so I would agree with that. And I just ponder and wonder how much of that is society imposing that on us and how much of that is self-imposed from our own culture, that women used to be in a certain way. I think about it as at 50, my grandmother, she used to be a grandmother. She was a grandmother, that old person that did different things. And at 50, I don't feel that way in any way, shape or form. So how do you see this happening?
I think as well, a lot of women have spent probably the best part of 20 years putting somebody else first, whether that's partners or children. And I work with a lot of women that are trying to maybe re-enter the workplace after a career break. They've put things on hold, they've stepped back a little bit, and they really struggle, not just getting back into it, but also with that confidence piece as well. I think there's a lot of imposter syndrome that people suffer from, and they struggle then to articulate what they've been doing potentially for the past 15, 20 years and how that then translates back into the workplace as well.
Do you think, Elizabeth, speaking of work, do you think that we still fit in?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that it's never too late to pivot careers as well. And I think a lot of what makes somebody experience rich and valuable to an employer is actually a network. In lots of roles, it's a network. And actually, the older we get, the often bigger our network is, but most importantly, the deeper that network is, the stronger those relationships are. And I think that is something that is hugely valuable into workplaces. And also people that are 50, they haven't grown up on phones. They've had to navigate a world which wasn't historically a digital world. So actually their communication skills and their in-person skills are often brilliant as well, and that is valuable whatever role you're doing.
Georgina, so we talk about the communication skills and how we socialize in a different way, but what are the assumptions that people have about over 50s?
I think it depends who you're talking to and how they perceive us. So, for example, looking at my own mum at 55, she died at 55. And to me, because I was a young person, I was 28, she just seemed like an old person, like that was a natural time for her to die. And now that I'm 52, and I feel young with so much to give, I recognize that she was actually very young.
Let's hear Victoria. I want to ask you particularly, around confidence. I come across many women that have been working so hard and have created such incredible careers. And now there seems to have hit 50 and there's a loss in the confidence. Why do you think that happens when our confidence should have been at our highest?
Yeah, I think quite often, certainly with a lot of the women I work with, it's almost, I think as our roles change around that age and perhaps people are less dependent on us, I think often there's this awakening as well that actually, am I doing what I really wanted to do? And I think that's quite big, because then people start to wobble. You feel yourself aging, you're going through perimenopause, menopause, and that can potentially have a big impact. But I think there's a whole load of questions that hit us, and there's a lot going on for us physically and then emotionally, and I think we just ask ourselves much bigger questions as well. And then of course, old patterns, old neural pathways, old what we think, the conditioning, it will chip away at us and we'll think, I don't have a place anymore, when that is just not true.
I think in the olden days, as women over 50, we would be considered as elders and revered. You know, people would come to us for guidance and advice because we've got perspective, right? Also, less energy, we are more discerning with how we spend our time, how we live our life, right? But now we are still competing in a new society where we have been successful. The expectations are that we should continue to be successful. And that is certainly coming from within, for me, as well as without. This whole idea of age gracefully and be an elder at 50, I'm too busy having fun and wanting to grow and expand. So I think there is an expectation gap that I've certainly experienced.
So would you say is there's an external pressure, or there's an external view on who we are, and an internal view of how we feel, what we think it's possible? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much. Very powerful question. What would you do if you had no money issues? I would probably still continue to do what I do, but I'd just let go of all of the hustle.
So Elizabeth, that opens up a conversation about the type of work that it's available and the opportunities that become available for women over 50. What would you say is happening in the marketplace today?
Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it, what's happening in the job market at the moment. And when the episode's released, but last month we had numbers come out that showed that there was record numbers of youth unemployment. And I think that it's actually just going to creep further up the career ladder. So actually maybe over 50s at the moment are at a bit of an advantage, because AI, as we know, is taking so many entry-level jobs. The increase in employer NI, as well as an employer minimum wage. The minimum wage they now have to pay for younger people that historically were cheaper to employ. It's made it much, much less attractive to employ that demographic. And I think as AI becomes more prevalent, it's just going to creep up the ladder, if you like. It's taking away entry-level jobs. Employers are automating where they can. And as AI becomes more prevalent, it's going to completely alter the job market. So in 10 years' time.
So we're walking into a world where the digitalization of our everyday doing, as you say, the entry-level jobs are all going, and that's going to be progressing to the point.
It's going to progress up the ladder, I believe. That's not to say that all jobs are going to be replaced. Obviously, the people that are going to retain their jobs are the ones that are going to be able to use AI. But actually, I think that the jobs that will retain are the ones that do require that human-to-human element. So sales, I actually think sales is going to stay, because people actually really do quite like to buy from people generally. So that's probably going to stay. Obviously, they are automating a lot of customer service. We know that. You just go onto any big website and you will speak to a bot first, but then there still needs to be some humans obviously overseeing that and stepping in. But I actually think we are going to see a real shift in terms of what employment looks like, and there will be much more jobs of managing the bots, if you like, and then much more freelancers and those sorts of people that are coming in and plugging the gaps around those projects and things like that. And
I wanted to use that, fire a question to you, Victoria. I see an increment in entrepreneurship, and the whole market is gearing us up to become entrepreneurs because, as we just heard, the employment market is being reduced or replaced. But here we are with 30 years of experience at the least in being out there, being empathetic leaders, being committed moms or workers, or having explored the depth of life and juggling it all. And we get to this point, and how do we transform this inner conversation to become successful entrepreneurs and put ourselves first at the source of providing a human-to-human connection?
So I think, how do we put ourselves first? So this is the key to so much, really. Women generally don't put themselves first, do they? And I think, as I say, you go through your whole life and then all of a sudden, I think around this age, you perhaps start to recognize that. And I think as we're here, we're all entrepreneurs, and I work with entrepreneurs. I guess not everyone listening will be necessarily, but I think many women do choose around that age to think, actually, I've had this dream all my life and I'm going to move into it. And I think it is an entrepreneur's world, if I'm well. I think to actually be standing for yourself, to be creating, to be serving people from the point of what you have learned throughout those 50 years that have gone before is incredibly powerful. And people need to hear that. I was very naive. I set up my business when I was 42, and I thought I just need to pop a little post out on LinkedIn and let everyone know I'm working for myself now. No one responded to those couple of posts. And actually, the personal development journey you go on as an entrepreneur is huge as well, I think. There was so much to learn. And then you've got this whole stage where you need to be visible, don't you? So if we're saying we're existing in a world where we're feeling invisible, but actually to create, to serve, to find clients, we need to be visible. It's an interesting space to find yourself in, isn't it? But there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn still. And I think that's what's exciting about making the step into entrepreneurship as well.
Given that we know what we know and we've done what we've done, is it that we are going on an inner journey that we started, and I perhaps blame menopause and perimenopause on that? Like, you start exploring your own experience of life and your own emotions. And I know for myself that I started swearing a lot after I turned 50, which I've never done before. But is it that we're just going on a different inner journey that we need as part of our maturity, that we say, look, I'm not doubting myself as much as I did before, but yet I'm doubting myself in what comes next. But I have a different expectation of life. Am I on the right path? What would you say?
I think it's an interesting one. I think you're always where you're meant to be. Start there. And we then go into the future, don't we? But what if? Where do I need to be? I need to earn this much money. I've got these people to look after. And we go into the future. But actually, I think our power lies in the here and now. There is only now. And I think the voice that kind of builds for us over these years does become louder. And I don't know that so much that the inner journey is changing, but I think maybe we're perhaps more intuitive and we're just able to connect a bit more. Yeah, I think our power shines through in that way. There's a lot of talk about things that start to go wrong for us at this age, but there's an awful lot of power that comes with it as well. And as you said, Georgina, we would have been revered and wise woman and all the rest of it. So I think we just start to dialogue with ourselves differently, and we hear perhaps a lot more.
I was recently looking at politics, and I had an opportunity I've been invited to be part of politics, and I've been wondering myself, what would the world look like if women we're part at a higher level, at the big table. We're part of transforming the world, transforming what companies look like, not representing men or not looking like men, but allowing our female traits, our female strengths to come forward. What do you think of the world like that, and what does it look to you?
I think it'd be more caring. I don't know, that's probably a generalization, but I feel that as an employer, I take quite an interest in my staff, and I'm interested in them. I like to know that they're happy, not just at work, but also their personal life. So therefore, I'm hoping that they feel confident and comfortable enough to share things and bring them their whole selves to work. Obviously, we're huge advocates of flexible working, and that obviously comes part and parcel if someone needs to take some time off at the dentist or whatever. No one needs to hide it or pretend they've got a meeting or anything like that. And I think that shift in allowing people to be themselves at work, because we have the confidence to be ourselves, would create much more caring workplaces, which in turn I think would improve productivity, profit, things like that, when people aren't feeling that they have to hide who they are and therefore aren't performing at their best.
Have you ever heard of the Elders?
No.
They are an international group of statespeople, male and female. So Aung San Suu Kyi, the previous president of Ireland, I can't remember what her name is, but then you've also got statesmen like Desmond Tutu, and they were a collective from all over the world setting founding principles as to how politics and the world should be governed, and using their influence and their network for good. And so leveraging something like that for women only, I think, would be very interesting, but we don't live in a women only vacuum. So having both, I think, works really nicely. Yeah.
Would we require a reset on how men, and I'm speaking broadly, okay, not about specific men that are very empathetic and caring and kind. I'm looking at what we see today in the world play, where we see a lot of anger and a lot of testosterone-driven politics, and where there is no caring and no nurturing in the communication. Is there a space to transform that into a different, more female narrative, where we could be bringing in our own loving and nurturing, empathetic kind of leadership and create a different world? Is that an utopia, or is that a feasibility?
I think it is. Also, I don't know if you've been following Emma Grede, but I really like her and how also unapologetically ambitious she is. And I think actually the message that we've had so long is that women are caring. I think we are caring, we're kind and things like that, and but therefore that doesn't marry with somebody that's ambitious, that wants to make money, that wants to have that promotion. And actually, as a female, I would love to see more of that as well, and not feeling I have to apologize for wanting to be rich basically, or wanting a promotion, or wanting to put myself first or anything like that. And actually sometimes the narrative is they always put themselves last, blah blah blah, but actually to have someone like her that's really refreshing and says, no, I put myself first and I do this, that, the other, it makes me feel that actually that's okay then to do that as well.
I think we all have a mixture of male and female energy. You know, I show up with my children very much with my female energy, and with my work with the masculine, with a background in sales and marketing and digital. And when one goes out of skew, I definitely feel unbalanced. So rather than polarize and just say more women, more men, we embrace the masculine and the feminine side of our leaders. Because if I look at it very simplistically, we've got fear versus love, right? What's happening in the world is very much fear-based. It's attack. It's very male, right? Versus female, which is the nurturing, loving. And also what happens is it tends to go in cycles, right? You have rise in hatred, fascism, fear, nationalization, and then you've got an expansion, and you have great leaders who come up who tend to be great statesmen, and they are men as well as women. So the balance isn't so much about them being men or women, it's the energy that they bring to it. Yeah. And how that then plays into the wider society. So what I think is quite interesting right now is The world isn't what it was even 5 years ago, and people are polarized based on their social media preferences or their political view, and that's only going to calcify. So rather than separate and disembody, we want to unify. Yeah.
So I just have another question, and I was just wondering, what would you say, Victoria, our strengths are at 50 that we didn't have at 35?
Oh gosh, wisdom comes through to me. I think we've experienced more, we've navigated more. So wisdom is definitely a strength that comes through. And I think if more of us could really embrace that wisdom and share it, that would have a huge impact. So yeah, wisdom definitely shines through there.
Anything else you ladies see?
I think perspective ties into wisdom. A life well lived, we've got a lot more that we can look back and provide context with, but also not giving a crap about what's not important and being unapologetic about saying it. There is a sense of humor that we can have. I laugh because, Elizabeth, you talked about imposter syndrome. I used to have that all the time in my 20s and 30s, because I was always thrown into building the plane as I fly it. And now at 50, I feel like I know so much. To me, it's about experience, perspective. I think the other thing is the less energy that we have due to menopause, due to age. And I believe to a certain extent, age is physical, but it's also in the mind. We are a lot more in tune with what's important and what's not, what counts and what we want to put our energy with and what we just don't want to waste our time with, right? So we are more discerning, I would say.
So for the young women that may be listening, what is the one advice you would give them with perspective? Yeah, so I've been there, done that. Now I'm a little bit forward. What's the one advice you would share?
It's all amazing. You have everything you need within. Just
enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the ride.
Yeah. And you're always where your attention is as well. So, to recognize their own power in terms of creation, I think is really important.
Set the intention so that you know the direction of travel. Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
I think that I was always quite impatient when I was younger. And I think that we underestimate what we can achieve. We overestimate what we can achieve in 1 year, but maybe underestimate what we can achieve in 5. And actually, it's just about staying the course. And that resilience is so important no matter what we do. So I think it's building that and being okay when people say no to things, because that I think is really important. Particularly, we talked about entrepreneurship and things like that, and even just applying for roles. You're not going to get everything. You might not get every interview, every job offer, etc. But that's okay, and you've just got to work that resilience muscle, because it's so important.
That's brilliant. So I have one last question, and if a woman in her 50s, and I said 50s because I've chosen the 50s, what advice would you give them on restarting, recreating herself? Or she's interested in coming back to work now that the kids don't need her anymore, or she's found herself in a new stage in life. What is the advice, the practical advice? What are the things that she could be doing to recreate her professional career today?
Mine perhaps isn't a professional response, but it would lead to it. And that is just have some fun, because I genuinely believe that in this world, we've talked about it, it's fueled by fear at the moment. There's a lot of no's, there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of change, there's stuff going on for us and around us. And I think actually we disconnect from the most beautiful things. And I think when we can start having more fun, and that could be as simple as reading a book that you love or going out for a coffee. But when you can have more fun, I think you are just tapping into being welcome for more opportunities to arrive for you. And I think whilst that's not a professional response, I think if honestly we were all just having more fun, just think about how this vibration of this world would lift and the frequency would change. And yes, that perhaps takes us into other realms, not for this conversation, but have more fun, be kinder to yourself, and in and amongst that joy, you will be allowing more opportunities, I think, personally, to present themselves. So that would be my take.
So being playful and allowing for the world to open up.
Absolutely.
Not taking it too serious. And I know
we just resist so much when we're like, I can't get a job and I can't fit in that outfit. What am I going to wear for that interview? We just resist so much without realizing it. So actually, if we can just connect with, being more playful.
Playful and more freer. And I hear you, Elizabeth, were mentioning about the resilience that we need to have in understanding. Anything else that you see that we need right now?
I think it leads on to Victoria, that actually connection is so important with other people and building those, I was going to say network, but it's not really that, it's friendships and community. And you rely on those, I think, at any stage in your life. And actually, as women, we're really good at friendships, actually probably better than men. And developing those friendships and relationships are really always going to help you, no matter where you are in life and career. So reach out to people, go out with them for a coffee, help them. Don't just take. You always have to give as well in relationships. But I think that is really key to a successful life and career, is that sense of community around you.
That's great. Georgina, any last words? Any last wisdom?
I'm all about being intentional with how we use our time. And one of the processes that I like to do or take my clients through is how they can get intentional with the career path that they're choosing. So I like to take them through the Ikigai process. It's Ikigai. And it's a Japanese concept where you take the confluence of 4 areas, which is what you're good at and what you can get paid for. A lot of people go into this when they come out of uni, and then they get really good and they become miserably successful. And then they come to us as coaches, and then they want to throw it all in when they get to their 40s and 50s and do the other 2, which is what the world needs and what they love. And there's no money necessarily in that. It's a vocation. So it's getting intentional with understanding what they're good at, what the world needs, and what they can be paid for at all 4 of those domains. And then mapping what the various career types could be. And then going to what you were saying, Liz and Victoria, get playful with it in terms of the ideation. And go out and start having conversations. I think networking frightens people, and the more playful that you can be, that's infectious. So I think, I'm combining all of those with intentionality.
Ladies, thank you so much. It sounds to me that turning 50 isn't the beginning of being invisible. I think that is the beginning of a new part of the journey where we have no longer the need to ask permission to speak, or we don't need to ask permission to be. We don't need to ask permission to, as Elizabeth said, to be rich. There's no need for any of that. Perhaps there's something new, extraordinary, bubbling up and opening up. And as Victoria and Georgina were clarifying, it's about being playful and complicating less life, because at the end of the day, you know who you are. So thank you so much for being here and for listening.